Following the back and forth movement that have characterized the Electoral Act amendments by the National Assembly, civil society groups are calling on President Muhammadu Buhari to sign the 2021 Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law. The civil society group says it is time to strengthen democracy in Nigeria and the president should act on the yearnings of the electorates for a better and more transparent electoral system. The House of Representatives and the Senate had passed into law amendments to the Electoral Act on November 9th while waiting for the president's assent. One of the contentious clauses in the amendment is the adoption of the direct primaries or internal political parties contestants, a provision that has pitched the state governors against the federal lawmakers. Joining us to look at this issue is
Mr. Ariyo.
ARIYO, yeah. Very warm welcome, ARIYO. I mean, why should there be any contention here about the Electoral Amendment Act? Because it's what civil society, together with Nigerians, canvassed for during the various public hearings, particularly after the first version was passed, which had earlier rejected electronic transmissions of results.
Well, I think that when it was passed initially, we had that concern, and of course there was this agitation. And again, when it was re-amended by the Senate and all of that, then we saw the introduction of the direct primaries as the single mode of primaries, and that again, brought another, uproar and criticisms and contention. But from our own observation, and we think the direct primaries will be good for our democracy because it gives the political party to present popular candidates, and it opens up the process to young people, women, people to contest on their own merit. And for us, we think it's a good thing the president should be able to sign it, and the president should have no problem whatsoever because President Muhammadu Buhari himself benefited from direct primaries. And it's also there is something interesting that Nigerians should know, that this direct primary was introduced in 2009 as a single mode of primaries. But the political parties then said, look, we do not have standard register, we do not have this, we don't have that, that is better they bring back the indirect primaries as part of the process. 2009, between 2009 and now, that's about 11, 12 years.
They should have gotten a
absolutely.
register.
So political parties,
an electronic one for that matter.
So political parties who cannot count themselves, their members, who cannot maintain standard register, how do you want to administer a country?
What are they afraid of?
What are they afraid of?
Imposition.
And that's one thing that we are telling Mr. President. Look, this is very shameful. It shouldn't be an argument in a modern day setting that because you cannot count yourself, you can't count your members, you cannot maintain standard register, and that is why we should not have direct primaries. Exactly. And we are saying this is an opportunity for us as a people, to open up the system. If any political party cannot do that, let us have other political parties who can do it. So we are hoping that the president would listen. I know that he has written to INEC, written to all other critical sectors for them to probably give their own feedback. And we are happy. They attempted all manner of lies, over this. They came up with 500 billion naira figure. We debunked it with our own alternative fact, even though INEC has come out to say that they've not put any price tag on any of the primary system. So for us, we believe
INEC has even said that the parties will bear the cost of their primaries. That is how it's supposed to be.
It is the responsibility of the political party.
Because when you look at the third schedule ITMF section 15C, it states the INEC shall monitor. So the monitoring and you see the monitoring here is not even consequential because INEC still has to wait in its office for the political parties to present a list of candidates to INEC, and that's the list that would definitely be binding on INEC.
Ariyo, from what you have just said, this is not something that is new to our policies and our politics in Nigeria, really. But the fact that it's still controversial, that means there is an issue there. But let's look at the fact that, the presidency has actually made a clarification that the president has not rejected the Electoral Act as it stands right now. But there are fears in some quarters that what happened in 2019 might happen again. And some civil society organizations, and I'm not sure if yours is part of it, have actually said that the National Assembly should override the president just in case he doesn't sign. I want to get your take on that.
I think it happened. I mean, this has to be in a process until December 19 before we can actually take any kind of decision in terms of asking the National Assembly to override the veto of Mr. President. But one thing we are looking at is there is a possibility, like we said in a statement today, we have high hopes that Mr. President will sign this bill. Number one, because after I rejected the last amendment done in 2018, the President said post 2019 he was going to sign the bill. Then secondly, Mr. President has met INEC in June 2021, has promised INEC that he is going to do everything that will ensure free, fair, and credible elections. And we're also held by time based on what happened 2-3 days ago, when President Buhari promising the international community that we do everything to ensure free, fair, and credible elections. So we believe it has come out at a very good time. We don't think the president will want to reject this bill because both our international partners are also urging him to sign this bill to give INEC a legal framework to prepare in earnest for the 2023 general election. So we are hoping the president will live up to his responsibility, side with Nigerians, because those who are against this bill are less than 20. Some of the, they are less than 20 in the entire country who are saying no to this bill. Not even the entire members of the APC Governors Forum are against the bill. There are less than 20 who are not in support of this. So we want the president to side with Nigerians to make history. It's a legacy that is very low hanging for him to do just with his signature on the, on the bill. We hope he will do the needful.
So what are some of the advantages really of the direct primaries, especially as it helps in deepening our democracy as it is right now?
You see, very, very, very significant. Number one, it will open up the process. You see, we have suffered too long. We have been able, in the last 20 years, we have been able to massage the ego of greedy politicians. We have had enough for their greed, where politicians take control of almost everything. The middle men who always use the process of indirect primaries to make enough money and all of that. We do not need all of this. What we need is a system that is open, that is transparent. The moment the political parties can have a standard register, digitized membership registration, then it's easy for anybody to join the political parties and win. That is why you see it so easy in America for Trump to move from one party to the Republican Party, and he was able to win against even the entrenched politicians. So if there is somebody who has charisma, who is good, a young person, who is loved in his community, you can win, your House of Assembly seat easily. Then the governors will not be able to say, what they normally do with the indirect primaries, they have their delegate, they use it to win, to dictate the candidate, House of Assembly, House of Reps, and all of that. And when at the end of every 4 years, they say this is the person who will come back, this is the person that will not come back, we don't mean that it's not democratic. It's not good for our democracy. So we open up the system, then it will also eventually reduce the cost of conducting elections, because one thing is this, the cost of what you're going to spend in the main election is always there, and you don't want to spend double money in terms of the kind of money you are bringing to bear. But because the governors, the moment they have the delegate system in the indirect primary, they already have that delegate, the number of the delegates already captured, so they can always use them for every of the primary to achieve whoever they want to have, in any, as a candidate of the party. So we are hoping that we will put an end to this very archaic system that has not in any way helped our democracy, and probably, go the way of direct primaries. And we pray that the president will sign it so that we can enjoy democracy the way it's done in every part of the world.
True dividends of democracy, according to my then state governor, James Onanefe. Now, ARIYO-DARE ATOYE, we want to thank you so very much. I wanted to ask you some other benefits, derivable in the next general elections and the rest, are now prepared. Civil society and INEC are particularly logistical issues, but let's leave it there, all right? ARIYO-DARE ATOYE is Executive Director, Adopt a Goal Initiative.